This is our updated CapCut video editing tutorial for beginners. We're going to run through exactly how to use the CapCut app so you can get up to speed fast, whether you're on iPhone, Android, or iPad. All right, so I've just opened up CapCut. I'm showing you this on an iPad. The process is exactly the same on iOS and on Android as well, but I'm showing you on an iPad because it's a bigger screen. So this is what you might see when you first log in. It's prompting you to sign into CapCut with a TikTok account, a Google account, or another method. So at this point, you can either create a free account and sign in. This is going to give you the ability to sync across your mobile, your desktop, and online. But you can also skip this step. If you just hit the little X up in the corner here, then you're good to go. We then just want to come down the bottom here to edit. So on this screen, this is where we'll be able to see all of your current projects and previous editing projects. They'll all appear down the bottom here. We've obviously got this big button here to create a new project, which is what we'll be doing in just a second. But up the top here, we've got a bunch of extra tools and things that are built into CapCut. It's awesome how fast they're building this thing out. And there's even more. If we hit expand, we can see them all. So in here, we've got a built-in camera app, which is actually pretty good. The ability to retouch your photos. There's a photo editor, text to image as well. We've got closed captions. There is an auto cut feature in here as well. There's also now a built-in teleprompter, which is actually pretty good. So a lot of these features and things you can actually access from within the editing project tools. But if you're just after some of these tools, then it's awesome that you got shortcuts to take you straight to them. So we're gonna go ahead now and create a new project. It's gonna prompt us to import some video footage. We could also select photos or live photos from here too. And generally what I'll do here is I'll import my primary camera footage. So the main footage we want to edit down, I want to import that piece first. So we're going to pick this clip here. Now just to select that, we can tap on the circle. You can see that that's now selected. So if we wanted to select multiple clips here, we can. But personally, I prefer just to bring in the primary footage first. Let's edit down. And then we can bring in extra footage, our overlay and B-roll footage as a next step. Now, the other thing you can do here, instead of tapping on this circle at the top to select your clip, if we select the clip itself, so just tap or click anywhere on the clip, then we actually have the ability in here to preview and to play back the clip, but we can also trim it down as well. You can see we've got these yellow handles on the side here, so we could drag this through to where we want the clip to start. And likewise, at the end, we could shorten it or trim something off the end of the video if we needed to. We can hit the tick and that will apply that quick edit to that clip before we even get it into the CapCut editing tools. So while this is a feature, it's not really something that I use. I'd much rather use the full editing suite. So I'm gonna hit the X here to go back. We'll go back again. And then I'm gonna hit create video. So this is the main CapCut editing interface. Obviously at the top here, we've got our preview or our playback of what it is we're editing. Down the bottom here, we've got our editing timeline. This is where you can tap on the screen, you can swipe across to preview or to scrub through your video. We've got a play button up the top here where we can play back our edit. We've got all of our main editing functions and settings and things down the bottom here. Now, if you are on a smaller screen, you might need to tap and swipe across to view all of these things. You'll also find that when we actually select or tap on a clip, that we get a bunch more options and settings and things down here that are related to that specific clip. There's a button here to mute the audio across this entire track. We can also expand our preview. So if we want to watch a full screen preview of our edit, we have that button there to do that. And we can shrink it back down using this one here. We can also see straight away up the top here in the top right-hand corner, we can see the project settings. So this is currently set to 1080p because that's the footage that I've imported. That's what I'm editing with here. But you can see we can also adjust this. If we want to create a 4K video, we could drag this up to here. Likewise, if we want to make adjustments to our frame rate or even the quality of the video before we save it out, then we can do that in here too. So I'm going to set that back to 1080p and I'm going to tap over here to get back to our main interface. So you can see in our timeline here, we've got our main primary footage here. We can pinch to zoom on this to zoom in and out. So I'm zooming out now. And we can now see the start of our clip, but also not too far along, we've got the end of it. Now, the first thing I like to do in CapCut is come across right to the end here, and you can see that we've got this little title here, CapCut, tap to edit text. Let's zoom in on this, and we can actually tap on it to select it, and we can hit the delete button down the bottom here to remove it. It's not something that has to be in it. I see a lot of videos where it has that at the end where people have forgotten or they didn't know that they could actually remove that. And I'm showing you this on the free version as well. I'm not signed in. This is totally the free version of CapCut. So yes, you can definitely remove that. From there, we want to start trimming down our footage. So the idea here is we want to go through, remove any bad takes, any mistakes to start to build out our story, to start to build out our edit. So I'm going to select our clip here. And then like with any video editing app or software, you'll find that there's lots of different ways that you can do things. So with the clip selected, we can see that we've now got this white box around the outside of our video. And we've also got this bigger area, this handle here on the left. We can tap and hold on that and drag across to the right. And this is going to trim off the start. So all this bit here where I'm just getting ready to start talking, we want to remove all of that. So I'm going to release my finger here and our video now starts at this point. This is our complete roundup. Likewise, if we come across to the end of our clip, if we want to trim off the end, so let's find the piece where I finish talking here, around here. We can then go ahead and grab this end handle. We can tap and hold on it and bring it all the way back to where we want the video to finish, about here somewhere. So our video now finishes at that point. Now let's say that there is a chunk in the middle here that we also want to remove. Any bad takes, any mistakes. We can swipe across to find the area where we want to add a cut, probably about here. We can then come down the bottom here to split. And we've actually now split our clip in two. So we now have a left clip and a right clip. And if we zoom in on this, we've got a bit more control. But let's say that we want to remove this piece where I'm thinking about what to say. Looks very painful, I know. We can then select on this area here. We can again grab that handle and slide it back to the left. And you can see that it's brought the next clip along with it. So we've removed that gap or that section and it's actually been closed up for us. So it's just going to play directly from one clip to the next. Now, if I undo this, we've got an undo button up here. So we've still got that section in here that we want to remove. Another way that we could do this is to add another cut. So we come down here to split at this point. So we've got our original clip. We've got this chunk here now that we've split either side off that we don't want to have. And we've got our end clip here. We can select this piece that we don't want. We can press the delete button down the bottom here, and it's going to remove that clip and again, close up that gap. So yeah, a few different ways to do essentially the same thing. So what you want to do now is go through and remove any bad takes, any mistakes, trim down your primary footage until you're just left with what you want to have here. All right, so we've done our first pass of this edit now. And it's also worth noting here that each one of these chunks, each one of these little clips, we can actually just pick up and move around. So let's just say that this chunk here, we wanted to move a little bit later in our edit. We can literally just tap and hold and pick them up and move them to where we want them. Now, there's also another new feature in here as well. If we select our first clip in the timeline here, we can also edit from a transcript as well. So we've got this option here, transcript-based editing. We select on that, it's gonna go through, it's gonna transcribe our video. And we can now see that we've got our transcript of what's been said down the bottom here. So let's say, for instance, that we want to remove this first sentence. This is our complete roundup of the best video editing apps for iPad in 2023. We can select this, we can then choose delete, and that has been edited now out of our video. It's been removed from the video. If we hit the little tick here to apply that, we can then play our clip here. iPad video editing has seriously leveled up and that section has been removed. So this is so awesome to see that this now built into here as well. And we can actually edit essentially from text. Now, if we come back into transcript editing, you'll see that there's also a feature up here. If we're on the pro version of this, so the paid version, you can also have it automatically remove filler words or gaps, ums, ahs in your videos too. All right, so now that your base edit here is done, the next step is to bring in any B-roll or overlay footage into our timeline. And for that, we want to come down here to overlay. So we select on this, we're gonna choose add an overlay. We can then go through and find the extra photos or video clips or graphics that we wanna use. So I'm gonna pick this first clip here. I'm gonna choose add. And we can see we've now got our clip here that's been added to our timeline. And it's actually essentially on top of or on a layer above our primary video footage. So we can still see that underneath there, but we can see down in our timeline here, it's actually its own video layer that's actually sitting underneath our primary footage. So this clip down the bottom here, we can treat it just the same as any other clip. I can tap on it, I can pick it up, I can move it around. If I select on it, I've got those handles on the ends, so I can adjust the start point, I can adjust the end point, we can add cuts and splits and everything to it. But the first thing I'd suggest that you're doing here is, because it doesn't quite fit our project here, it's come in a little bit smaller on the screen, is we want to resize it so that it fits our main project. So to do that, we can just come up to this top area here and we can pinch to zoom on this graphic. So you can see it's gonna snap to that full screen size there. We can go beyond that. If we wanna make it bigger, we can keep scaling it up. Likewise, if we wanna adjust the position of it, we can do that here too. But I'm just gonna make it the correct size for our project. And then I'm just gonna scrub through our project here to work out just the sections that we wanna have. So maybe I will start our clip about here just before it moves. I'm gonna grab that handle on the left side of the clip here and drag it back to that point. And let's say that we want it to finish about here. Then again, with that clip selected, I can come down here to split. That's gonna split our clip in two. And maybe I don't want the rest of this here. I can trash that by hitting the delete button here, and that's now gone. Now we want to add in another clip. I can choose add overlay again. Let's pick our next clip here. Again, we have the option to just select the clip, or if we select on the clip first, then we can trim it down in here. So let's say that we want our clip to start about here where it appears in frame. And let's drag the end of the clip back, the tick to apply that, 20 seconds long. We then can choose add. So there it is there. We can then scale it up again so that it fits our full screen. And then maybe we want to press and hold on this clip. Let's move it back towards the start, maybe around here. Scrub through this now. I'm talking on screen here. We're then showing this overlay clip, back to me talking, back to this other clip. So you can see how easy it is to build out your editing projects this way. So you want to go through now, add in any B-roll, any overlay graphics onto your timeline. Now from here, we'd look at adding in any effects or transitions or anything into our project. Now this is an area where CapCut really excels. There's so many different built-in effects and transitions and stuff in here. So we're gonna go back out of overlay mode. We hit the little back arrow here. We can see now our timeline with those overlay graphics added, we're seeing a compressed view of it. So we can see that they are still on here. We can see how long they go for based on these little icons here, but we're not seeing the full graphic that we are, the full video there that we do see in overlay mode. So I love that this compresses this down so that it's not taking up a bunch of space, especially on a smaller screen. So now in terms of the effects, there's really two different ways that CapCut allows you to apply effects to your editing projects. You can actually add them on a clip by clip basis. So something that's only going to apply to that specific clip or file, or you can actually add it as essentially an adjustment layer or an overlay of its own that will be applied to anything underneath that clip. So I'm going to show you both ways here. Let's say that we want to add an effect to this first clip here. I've got that clip selected, and you can see down the bottom, we got a bunch of different effects and things that we can apply to this. It's also worth noting that new tools, new features have this little new symbol, and the ones where you do need to be on the pro or the paid version of this will clearly be marked as pro. So it'll still let you use the pro ones in your edits, but when you go to export it, that's when it's going to tell you you need to pay. So if you're only looking at using the free stuff in here, then don't use anything that's marked as pro. But in terms of effects, you can see we've got things in here like retouch, like a beauty mode, right? So we could choose face. I mean, that is not a good image to be working with, but you can see that we can smooth out my skin. Well, that's just scary. We can adjust my skin color, whiten my teeth, all of this stuff. We can reshape your face. We can apply different makeup and looks and things in here. A little scary. I'm just gonna hit reset and back out of here. We can also add things like motion blur in here. We've got cutout, so background removal. If I press on this, it's going to go through and remove the background of our video. So if we scrub through this now, you can see the background has been removed. So we could then apply our own background behind that if we wanted to. We select on the clip again, you can see we've also got things like stabilize. So we've got shaky footage, then we can stabilize it in here. There's also speed control in here as well. So that's the stuff that we can apply onto the clip itself. But if we go back and just open up effects here, so without a clip selected, then we get to choose video effects, body effects, or photo effects. I'm going to choose video effects. You can see there's so many different effects in here to choose from, but let's say that we want to pick one, we'll tap on it to apply it, and it's appeared as its own clip down in our timeline. And these effects are applied to any clips that appear underneath this. And from here, we can drag this out. We could pick it up, we could move it around, but these effects are going to apply to any clips that are underneath this adjustment layer, underneath this section. And then if you want to remove it, you can just tap on it, hit the delete button, and it's gone. So that's how you can add in all of your effects. But in terms of your transitions, let's zoom in on our timeline here. And you can see between our clips here, we've got this little white button. So if I press on this, then this is our transition button to add a transition or an effect that happens between those two clips. Again, you can see we've got a mix of pro and free ones in here as well. And there's lots of different ones to choose from. Again, broken down into different categories and those sorts of things as well. But in terms of an edit like we're working with here, where what we're talking about is two clips that are very much the same. So it's the same angle, same content, same person in this. I wouldn't normally add a transition here at this point. Instead, what I would do is potentially zoom in on one of the shots to make it look a little bit different, to make it look like essentially it was filmed with a different or a more zoomed in camera. So I'd pick either one of these, the first or the second. I'm just gonna go to the second clip with this. I'm then gonna come up to the top area here and we're going to pinch to zoom to scale this up a little bit. Now, depending on how you've shot this and your camera settings and all of that stuff, you might potentially be losing a little bit of quality zooming in like this, but it can be a great way to help you break up your video footage too. Again, now this was our first shot, and then now we jump to a more zoomed in shot here. So at this point, you want to go through, add in any effects, any transitions onto your videos. And you can also add them onto your overlay clips as well. Now, there's another way that you can add essentially transitions onto your clips here inside of CapCut too. Let's just zoom into our timeline here. I'm actually going to show you this on an overlay clip, but it will work on a regular clip too. So I'm going to tap on our overlay clip here. So we've got this clip here selected. We can come down here to animation. Now in here, we can choose an in animation, an out animation, or a combo animation. So an in will happen at the start of the clip, out at the end, and a combo will happen with both or throughout the clip. So let's say that we want to add an effect as this clip comes onto screen, then we can pick one of these here. So maybe we'll try this one. Let's then see what this looks like. So I'm talking here, we've then got this effect now. Our footage here slides in from the bottom with this effect, bounces a little bit, and then the camera's on screen. So that was all done with an in animation. And then from there, we're going to add in any titles and text. And what I'd suggest here is that you're moving this playback indicator here, this white line, to where you want to have your titles added first. So let's say that we want to have a title added towards the start of the project here. With nothing selected, we have the option here to add text. We can select on that. And then we've got a few different options. We can add basic text in here, which I will show you. There's also some text templates in here too. And we also have the ability to draw and write on our screen here too. So just to add in basic text, we want to come over here to add text. We then get a text box on screen, which we can double tap on to edit. So we've got my name in there now. We can then come over here to style. We can adjust the way that it looks. All of this is fully customizable too. Like we can scroll down here. There's more control over the opacity, over the size of it. We can adjust the text colors, the different strokes and outlines and things. There's even different effects and presets and things in here that we can use. And we can also add some animations in here too. So let's look at this pro one here. And there's a bunch of free ones. So let's say we want to run with this one. We can come back up the top here and we can pinch to zoom to make it big or smaller. We can pick it up, we can move it around to where we want it, maybe something like this. And we can hit the tick to apply that. And once again, it's added to our timeline here as its own video clip where we can press on it, we can pick it up, we can move it around, we can select it, we can choose how long it's going to be on screen for. So maybe we'll extend it out a little bit here. And if we scrub through this now, we can see at this point, the text comes on screen and then it disappears at that point. So we can go ahead from here and add in more transitions and things and effects onto this. And you can see how easy that is to build that out. Now I mentioned the text templates down here as well. If we tap on this one here to add one of those, then you'll see this is the next level of animations and graphics and things that you can add in. Again, we've got trending ones and a bunch of categories across the top here. And if we scroll down in here, you'll see the types of things that you can add. And a lot of these are animated. And they're also fully customizable as well. You can change these up live in CapCut too. So let's come over here to social media. And you can see you've even got things like YouTube subscribe buttons and like buttons and all sorts of things. So let's pick this one here, subscribe. And again, we can customize this up. So instead of it just saying subscribe, maybe we can have it say subscribe now. And just the same as our other clips, we can pinch to zoom, we can pick it up, we can move it around. Maybe in this case, we'll have it up the top here. We'll hit the little check box here to apply it. And as we scrub past this now, we'll see that we've got that subscribe button appearing up the top. Now back here under text, there was one more thing I wanted to show you, which is the draw feature. So if we press draw here, then we can literally just pick our color. Let's go black in this case, and we can just draw on screen. So this is something that Final Cut for iPad announced recently that you could do all of this on there, but we can literally just draw on our screen here, and this becomes another title or a graphic that then once we apply this, we then have down here in our timeline. And what's cool is you can also animate this too. So if we then press animation, we can use some of these basic ones to bring my graphic on screen. Or on the Pro version, we can actually have this order. So it's going to draw on or appear on in the order that we drew it out. But you will need to be on the Pro plan for that feature. So we're gonna go ahead now, add in any text or titles onto your video. And then from there, we're gonna add in any music or sound effects into our video. So we just want to click on screen here, add audio. And then in here, we've got a bunch of different options. The first one, sounds. There is music and sound effects and things here inside of CapCut that you could use and add into your videos. But a lot of these are copyrighted for CapCut for use on TikTok only. So be very wary about using these in videos outside of anything that you're posting to TikTok. And this is where personally, where we go for music is Epidemic Sound and Artlist. And if I'm editing on my iPhone or iPad or on my device, I like using the Epidemic Sound app because it makes it really easy for you to find great music, save it directly to your device, all from your mobile device. So yes, there is music in here that you can use, but personally, I wouldn't and I wouldn't recommend it. So let's come back out of here. What they have included now is a copyright checker. So if you are using their music and stuff in here, you can check for copyright. But for me, again, this is something that I just wouldn't want to deal with or have being a potential issue at some point in the future. So we do have the ability though to import audio from clips on our device. So if you already have video files on your device here, then you can actually just pull the audio from that here with this extract feature. You can also record a voiceover in here too. But in terms of actually bringing in your own music, if you've got it saved on your device, so this is the process for iPhone and for iPad, we want to go ahead and open up the Files app. You want to navigate through to find the item that you want to use. So I've got this track here from Epidemic Sound. I'm going to select on that. I'm going to come up here to Share. And in here, I'm gonna go across and say, open this with CapCut. And we get an option then to import audio to CapCut. It's then brought that track directly into the timeline, into the project that we've been working with. Again, knowing that this is something that we're not gonna have any copyright issues with afterwards. But now that this clip is in here, we can tap on it, we can pick it up, we can move it around, we can trim it down if we needed to, just the same as you would with any other file in here. Let's move that back to the start now. And because our audio goes for longer than our video here, let's shorten this down so that it finishes at the end of our video. So you can bring in your music, your sound effects and everything at this point. And then we're going to get to adjusting our volume levels. So given that in this video here, it's mainly a piece to camera video, someone speaking to camera. Therefore, my voice or my narration here is going to be the main thing, the most important thing audio-wise in this video. So I'm gonna make sure that the audio levels for that, for me speaking, are right first, and then we'll adjust the music levels and sound effects or anything as a secondary to that. So I'm gonna select our music track here, and then I'm just gonna come down to volume, and I'm just gonna drag this down. I'm then gonna go ahead and select our first clip here, and then we can come down here to volume. Now CapCut does do a good job with its volume leveling already, but we can see we have this manual adjustment here. We can increase the volume levels by swiping this up, or we could lower it down if the volume is too loud by swiping this the other way. And it really is a matter here of, in most cases, playing through your clip, ideally with headphones on, so you can gauge your volume levels. and get them set how you would like it. But what they also have here in CapCut, which is awesome, is this automatic loudness adjustment setting here. And if we press the little question mark on this here, it says that the loudness of all other clips is automatically adjusted according to the loudness of this clip, this first clip that we've selected, so that they sound the same. Meaning that if we increase the volume of this, get this first clip to where we want it, we can then press this loudness adjustment and it will go through then and adjust the rest of our clips so that it matches. So if you do have some that are louder and quieter than others, it's going to automatically adjust that for us. So to enable that, we just need to hit loudness adjustment. That'll go through, automatically analyze our clips and apply the volume level adjustments for us. Once you've got the volume sorted on your primary footage here, then that's time where we want to come back to our music and sound effects. We want to go to volume and we want to increase this to the point where we want it for our videos. Now, again, this is a creative thing. There's no right or wrong with this. There's some videos where you want to have the music louder than others. So this is where I'd suggest you moving this slider around with headphones on to get it sounding the way that you'd like it. You don't want it too loud to the point where it's distorting or it sounds bad, or where it's annoying and repetitive for the viewers either. Generally, as a starting point though, we're normally starting around 30 and we're moving up or down from there depending on the track. Once you're happy with that, press the tick to apply that and your volume levels are sorted. Now, in terms of your audio adjustments, if we click on one of our primary clips here again, you can see that you've also got stuff in here like voice effects, if you want to make adjustments to those. And you've also got the ability in here to remove background noise as well. So if you've got a lot of wind noise or background noise in your videos, you can actually take that out here in CapCut too. The next step from here is to adjust the colors or apply any color grades to your video. So again, with this first clip selected here, we then want to come down here to either filters or adjust. So if we go to filters first in here, we get essentially like Instagram filters or looks that we can apply to our video. So obviously if there's something that you like the look of here, then by all means use that. You've got the ability here to apply to all of your clips quickly and easily from here. Or if you want to dial it in further with one of these filters selected, we can then come over here to adjust and dial this in further. So we could adjust the brightness here and make tweaks to that look that we've already applied. But instead, if I hit reset on this, let's come back to filters. Let's choose no filter. So we're back to our original footage. We can just jump straight to the adjust tab here as well. And this is where we can manually adjust the colors ourselves without needing to use a filter or a look. One of my favorite features that they've recently rolled out is this auto adjust tool. Normally in these sorts of apps and software, automatic color correction's not that good, but I've actually been pretty impressed with the auto adjustments on CapCut's end. Now this one is now marked as a pro tool as well. But if we just press on it here, you can see the adjustments that it's suggesting as to how this shot could look. But let me reset that. Let's remove that pro effect so I'm not going to have any issues later. And in terms of how I would approach this, normally I'd start off with exposure. So we get the brightness set right. We'd brighten this up if we needed to or darken it down. So maybe we'll add a little bit of brightness. I'd then come across to color temperature. So either add some blue to cool the shot down or add more yellow or orange to warm the shot up. Maybe something like this in this case. I'd then jump across to saturation, where we could either boost the colors. So you can see we go too much, I'm gonna look sunburnt. Back the other way, we're gonna strip all the colors out and go black and white. So I'd probably just increase the colors a little bit here, maybe something like that. And then depending on the shot and the look I was after, maybe I'll add a little bit more sharpness with this one, just to make it a little bit more crispy. So maybe something like this. And then again, if I wanted to apply this to all of our remaining clips, we can just hit apply to all, hit the tick, and then all of our shots here in the timeline will now have that effect applied or that look applied. So the next step here is to export or to save out your video. And then I got one more bonus section that I want to cover off here really quickly for you. So in terms of exporting, you don't really have a lot of settings and control in here, but you do again want to make sure that your settings up here are correct. So we're currently set to 1080p. If I wanted to export a lower quality version or a different frame rate, then I could adjust those here. But the one that we really want to look at here is the code rate, the bit rate, the quality of the video. And recommended here is probably going to be fine for most people, but if you want the highest quality video out of this, then I'd suggest that you're bumping this up to high. It's also going to give you an estimate here of the file size when we export it. So on the highest quality, this is saying 183 megabytes. if, for instance, we drop this back down to recommended, it's only dropping to 146. So we're not talking about a huge increase in file size here. So again, we want to make sure that our settings here are correct. And then we just need to hit this export button here and the export's going to happen. So really quickly, those bonus things that I wanted to show you, if we back out of this now, one of my favorite features inside of CapCut here is the ability to reformat your video projects at any time. So right now, and for this entire video, we've been working off a widescreen, say, YouTube video. But let's say that we've now finished this video and we want to create a version for Instagram or for TikTok. We can come down here to ratio and we can choose the different size or format video that we're looking to create. So let's say that we wanted to pick here a 9:16, so a portrait version for TikTok or for Instagram stories or something. We could then hit the tick button down here to apply that. And then we've got some different options as to how this scaling actually works. We could come down here to canvas. We could either pick a color for the background. So maybe we go some sort of a blue. We could also choose a blur. So if we wanted our background here just blurred out, that's an option here too. Or we could actually pick a background file or a background image that we could use. Or we can come over here to say our first clip and we can manually pinch to zoom this up so that it's scaled to fit our video. We could reposition it so that it fits that new format. So we can do that manually on a clip by clip basis. And there's also an automatic reframing tool in here as well. So if we select this, we can come down here to this auto reframe. Again, this is another paid option that they have. But this is automatically going to reframe our shot for us so that the most interesting stuff, or if there's someone speaking, that their face is now going to fit in this new video format. So it's awesome they've got these tools in here to automatically help you do this too. And the last feature that I wanted to show you is the automatic captions tool. So if we come down here to text, we can then come over here to auto captions. This is going to go through and automatically transcribe your videos and add the text on screen for you. So we're going to choose our sound source here is all, so that's our entire video. We can then choose these different templates here. Again, there's some good free options. There's also some paid options. We then want to hit start. It's going to go through. It's going to automatically generate these captions for us. And we can see now as we scrub through here, we've now got our text of what's been said written on screen here. And all of this is customizable. We can edit the text. We can add in different animations and effects and things on this. And there's also a new pro feature in here. This one's very recently added to be able to translate these into other language subtitles for you as well.
Now that you know how to edit in CapCut, if you're looking for the best places to find music for your videos, check out the video I've got linked on screen for you. And as always, check out the links in the description box below. We've got a bunch of resources down there to help you with your video creation, your YouTube growth, and monetization. And I will see you in the next video.